This is Lawtina Life.
Dropping out. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do law school. Yeah. I'm so done.
Puro 956 right here.
I don't know who you think you are. You know, I'm not gonna,
it makes me aggressive. You want to see aggressive?
It makes me want to be.
Give me that. Like literally, give me that. I'm joking, but I'm not.
It's good. The fact that you don't like me as much as I do is weird.
That's odd.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Lawtina Live. This is Olu, and this is my really good friend from school. She's a 2L. What else about you? Let me think. Anything you can. She's a poet. Yeah. One of my favorite things about you is that you're a poet because I love poetry. And what else, Olu? What else can you let us know about?
Nigerian American, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. My favorite foods in the world: brownies, cinnamon rolls, and yams. Yum.
A sweet tooth. Mm-hmm. So cool. Do you have any siblings?
I have two. I have a younger sister. She is 22, and a younger brother. He's gonna be 19 this year.
Oh, you're the oldest?
Yeah.
Oh, big sister.
Yeah.
Love that. I'm also a big sister.
I know that's all right.
Okay, so I really wanted to talk about your poetry, and maybe like I can snip a little if you send me like a video. I can snip a little like as after we talk about it or before. But so, what made you want to get into poetry?
So I went to Edward R. Murrow High School in Brooklyn, New York. And anyone in New York knows there's like these 3 M schools, Murrow, Midwood, Madison. They're really, really large schools. In terms of population, they're like the size of a small college campus. So my college was maybe 4,000 students. So was my high school, except we were all in one building. Wow. There was like foot traffic when you would get to class.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, literally. And it was sort of like an artsy school. They had like fashion classes, and like they would have screenplay like what do you call it, plays. They would have like a script writer. I wrote a script for them one time. They would have these large like Broadway sized productions, and the people in the fashion classes, the students would like design clothes, and they would like make it from scratch with fabric and so much, like it was so artsy. I got in there like normal, not artsy. And then my freshman year, they make everyone take like the same English. I think it's like English composition and then like Greek mythology.
Wow.
And then they started a program called the Writers Institute. They started it the year of my 9th grade.
Okay. So when you like first got there?
Exactly. And was like, apply to it. It would start in your sophomore year. So I just applied for fun. I think they accepted everyone. And it was like supposed to be sort of like from 10th through graduation, you would have like special writing classes. So instead of like the average writing class that many students had, I had like playwriting, I had poetry, I had creative writing. Wow. And so because of that, that's really where it started. Yeah. Like I was like, okay, I like this. Yeah. And it just kept kind of going from there.
You realized you were good at it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I really, really love your poetry. I feel like if anybody knows you and if anybody knows Olu, like when you speak with your poetry, I feel like you're just talking. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Like it's just you speaking, but 100%. At the same time, it's so eloquent and it seems like you just thought about it for months. But
thank you.
You know what I mean? You just, I love it. I write poetry too, but I don't ever like put it out. And so you give me a little bit of like inspiration and power. Yeah, I should. Yeah, I will eventually once it's, because I don't know if you're the same way, but when I write, I just go and I like brain dump. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, it's kind of a poem, Yeah. And so I never take that and put it into an actual like stanza. You know what I mean? I never do that, but I should.
You should.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. What is like the inspiration behind some of your poetry?
Honestly, Black people. Like that's really where it kind of started for me. I know you and I spoke one time about like where we come from and the things that we strive for, and the whole Black Lives Matter situation. Obviously, I was in high school in 2020 when the term kind of was popularized. I think maybe it was a few years before.
I think it was before, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of where it started. Like, it really got its grip on me. Right. I did start, because when I was in high school, like, Black Lives Matter was a thing, but it wasn't a thing in the way it is today. And so I found it easy to talk about things like, I know I have a poem, and I say, like, fist up for, like, Trayvon Martin and Sandra Bland and Philando Castile, because all those things happened when I was in high school. And so the movement was a movement before it was a movement. Right. and that's kind of where I got the inspiration. Now that I'm just a little bit older, I'm kind of branching off into things beyond like tragedy.
Okay.
So like, I want to do a poem next about black hair. Yeah, I kind of want to do one about grief because I think it's so difficult and so many people don't talk about it.
Right.
And when people lose people, sometimes you don't even know what to do with yourself. It's like it's so permanent. Like, you just don't get it.
There's no right way to do it. There's no way to do it.
Right.
I don't know. That's just too much to like think about like in your everyday life. So people just don't. Yeah. And then nobody talks about it.
They just put it in the back of the closet.
Right.
I want people to stop putting it in the back of the closet.
Yeah, so. That's a human thing to go through is grief. We all have to go through it.
100%.
Eventually.
Yeah.
That's so cool though. I love that. That's why I think your poetry is so real because it comes from like a place of like real, real without cussing, like real stuff, like you said, like just human things, like Black Lives Matter, grief. What did you say?
Black hair,
right? Just and I can't wait to hear about that one. And you're from New York?
Yeah. Brooklyn, stand up.
I'm really
standing up.
You're like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Tell me about that because my mom loves New York. First of all, shout out to my mom. And don't tell me about that. I love New York.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Me too. Me too. I love New York. You know how people say it stinks, it's dirty, it's trash, and I concur.
You're like,
it might be trash.
You might have ate with that one. You might have got it.
It's my trash though.
Right.
It's beautiful trash.
Right.
There's no city in the nation like it.
Right.
There's no city in the world like New York. And I've been to some of the major cities in and outside the country. It's nothing like it.
Yep.
It's really a gritty city, and is it expensive? Yeah, painfully expensive, but you gotta hustle to survive there.
Yeah.
You something that I love and hate about New York is when you grow up there, you grow up really, really fast, and it's not in the way just like, other cities obviously experience that. Like maybe you've seen some things earlier, some things going on in your family, you grow up quickly. But like in New York, in addition to all of that, you're doing something that I won't even say most, no other city in the country has to the level that New York has, and that is public transportation. So to take in the bus, to take in the train often, we walk so often, and there's that added layer of a need for hyper awareness,
right?
A need to establish security for yourself, a need to learn how to mind your business. We take the train with loads of people who literally have like mental issues. They have psychiatric issues,
right?
And that's just not a random classification. There was literally a closing of psychiatric institutions and letting people out onto the streets in New York. Yeah, that's not even just me being like, oh, they're crazy.
Yeah, no, that was like a actual thing that happened.
100%. Wow. And so, like, they're on the streets, and you just got to mind your business. You just got to look forward. Somebody talk about World War VI, and that didn't happen.
Right.
You just have to go like this.
Right.
Sometimes somebody would scream me right here, and all sorts of things happen on the train. They come and knock your coffee out your hand, try to push you in the train. They do insane things.
Wow.
And as a kid on a train, you just have to figure out how to navigate such a heightened risk at all times.
Yeah.
When I came to Houston, I was taking a bus because I hadn't bought a car yet, and I was taking it pretty far, and no one takes the bus in the South. Like, it's just not common at all.
Not that I really have seen. Like, maybe, like when you don't have a car, we hop on the bus, but
everybody driving.
Yeah.
So the bus, I was at a seat, which is great. Sometimes you get on the bus from New York, you don't have a seat.
Stand.
You got to stand the whole way. But it's just, because no one takes the bus out here, it's just very different. It's very different. And so, say all that to say, I love my city down. I love it so bad. I love
your city too.
Wow. But it has its flaws.
Yeah, every city does. But that is so, like, New York is so rich and full of culture, and I mean, I think Houston's the melting pot, but it has nothing on New York. New York really has like every culture, every type of person, and then even that, like, you know, in cultures you have different kinds of people. I feel like I've experienced all of that in New York, like all the way around. Yeah, that's so cool. I can't wait to go back to New York. You gotta like send me like good places to eat and stuff.
Will.
Oh, I love New York. I will. You know what I actually want to talk about with you is so you said you're Nigerian, right? Nigerian American. I want to know about Nigerian culture because I feel like I know a bit about it, but I'm not well versed in it. So like, what is like some of the like, you know, common things in Nigerian culture?
Nigerian culture is very similar to Black American culture. Okay. In many ways, they mirror each other as expected. Right. At least for me, child. Anyways, like one of the things that Nigerian culture is really big on is respect. And respecting particularly folks who are older than you, folks who are in higher positions than you. And so specifically, I'm from the Yoruba tribe. So my name, Oluwa, means God. My first name, Oluwademilade, means God has crowned me. And that's so beautiful. Thank you. In our tribe in particular, when you greet elders, you would like kneel. And a woman she doesn't have to kneel all the way down. At least now we're a little more modernized, but you would like at least sort of like bend yourself when greeting. If it's a really, really old person, you might just get on the ground and kneel. And men do what they call is prostrate, and they would just lay flat on the floor and greet. And so it's not as expected, at least in my home or in New York, I should say, when you're really familiar with the person you're greeting. Okay. So I might just be like, hey, auntie, my auntie, you know, like play it off. But if it's someone I'm not familiar with, I'm probably going to kneel a bit or bend a bit. That's so, cool. Yeah, they don't play like that. If you have an older sister that's maybe 10 years older than you like if you were my sister and you were 10 years older than me, I wouldn't call you Julie. I would say Big Sis Julie or Sis Julie. Or some people even call their sisters their aunt because she's just so ahead.
The dynamic.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's so cool.
For sure. And so I probably think that's another thing about the culture is the names. We don't believe in like I don't know, just naming without purpose. And so all of our names have generally a meaning. We don't really have like a I'm trying to think of a name.
Well, your name, right? Like it has a meaning.
It does.
You said crowned by God, and and that's beautiful. Honestly, I love when names have. I mean, most names. I think in Spanish, most names have a double meaning. So I was just curious about Nigerian culture because so thus far, like all the guests, we've all had like different cultures, right? Yeah. And so they've all been so similar to Hispanic culture. Very similar. Like how you say that in Nigerian culture you have a lot of respect for your elders. Like that's super prevalent like in ours. Yeah. And so I always like to just learn, know about other people's culture. Not only that, but because I feel like knowing that it helps you be able to be someone's friend. Yeah. To be able to be respectful of who they 100%. Are. Yeah. So when people go to school but they don't have any money, I just want to hear your opinion about that.
I mean, I need to talk about this because
you got the floor.
So I was reading something about, I forget the dude's name, but the white man who came up with standardized testing. Okay. And sometimes, like, my friends laugh at me because, like, I can connect nearly everything, if not everything, to some form of racism. Okay. And they think I saw your wild. TikTok. That was I can't help it.
When I get lit, you start talking about how like structural racism and capitalism.
I can do it. I promise you, I can connect it. Okay. And so, SATs, ACTs, LSAT, MCAT, whatever you want to name, I can connect it to racism. For like undisputably, like they are, like literally not a matter of opinion.
Yeah, no, they literally are.
And so a part of it is making the whole testing structure inaccessible and unaffordable unaffordable. Yeah. whooping my behind. Unaffordable for people who don't have money.
Right.
What town did you say you're from?
I'm from Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi. And I would imagine, I've never been to Corpus Christi, I've heard of it, but I would imagine everyone there is not millionaires, right?
No, there's like, it's called Ocean Drive.
Okay.
And it's like one strip, and that's where pretty much like all of the wealthy people live, and then everywhere else is the rest of us.
Yeah,
so,
the commoners.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like, where do you even start if you want to do something like go to law school, right?
Right.
Because if you have the money and you have resources, you have the power, you can call
your
mommy
friend.
and daddy or your friends.
And their friends.
You just know how to put you in. And
Yeah.
But if you don't have no money, where do you even start?
Right.
Like, without getting... Excuse me. I got an LSAT fee waiver for the LSAT. You know, they let you take it 200. I said 200. God forbid, 2 times, and they waived.
2 times would be crazy.
That's insane. They waived the 200 fee both times, and then if you qualify, they also they like you got to pay to send your scores to every school, so they pay for a certain whatever, all money. And so like I can only imagine where I'd be if I didn't qualify for those things, but I didn't qualify because didn't have the money, right? And so like I want people who are, especially people who look like us, right, like to not be discouraged about not having the money. If you want to go for it, just go for it. The loans, I don't care, they're just always going to be there. They literally they hang over my head. Like I'm constantly anxious about my loans, but like you're literally not going to stop me from bettering my life. Not with that.
You could try.
Get creative. I'm sorry. But I don't know. It's just it's something near and dear to my heart. I wonder what I'm going to do about it when I graduate and I do get some money. But I want to do something because like there are so many people with opportunity. Even back home in Nigeria, I think about like how there's so many people with opportunity, or who if they did have opportunity would take full advantage of it, and they don't because they don't have the money and they don't have the resources. And so luckily for us, when it was time to apply to law school, we can just go on Instagram and look up how to get to law school, or YouTube. TikTok. Now tell me TikTok's amazing.
I
love TikTok.
I have my TikTok PhD.
I'm not happy with how our government is acting over TikTok. I'm not happy with
I don't even know about that. I know they banned it, right? So is it going away?
Took a vote they want to force the sale of TikTok to what I guess is, and I'm not sure about this part, but I guess they want to force the sale of TikTok, but I think to an American company. I don't know if it's a regulation thing, if it's a
I'm curious.
Shareholder
that sounds
thing.
Like con law coming through. Because what do y'all, I don't know if that's you can do that. Are you allowed to do that?
And so I think the TikTok, maybe the CEO, he's from Singapore. And I don't know. I don't know if you watched the hearing, but I was watching the hearing.
Yeah, I have to look at it because that's like my favorite thing to do right before bed. Get on TikTok.
Literally.
Learn a lot through there.
I think they were questioning him in the hearing, and one of the politicians.
I saw that. Actually, he's Singaporean.
He's not from China. Kept saying it.
Yeah.
Are you affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party?
Well,
no,
I'm
Senator.
From Singapore.
I'm Singaporean.
Yeah.
He's like.
Yeah, maybe if I find that
do
clip,
you
I
eat
can
Chinese
add it
food. He's like Senator.
He's like, you got me. You got me. I just had it. No, yeah, that wasn't that. I saw that. That was insane.
Insane.
That was
so.
Crazy.
That's what they trying to do. They trying to make someone from here buy TikTok so they can do God knows what with it.
Yeah, that's that sucks.
Boo.
Yeah, lame. But on that, so I know you're saying it's hard to get into law school even if you don't have money, but I mean even into college.
100%.
You know what I mean? Undergrad, 100%. It's like the odds are stacked against people with no money, and especially minorities. For the beginning. And so, I mean, it's a huge deal. And I will say, like, I don't know if you agree with me, but in a way, I feel that we're privileged being here and in the space that we're in. Even though we fought, like, tooth and nail to get here, there's so many of our people that just aren't here that would be so great in this space.
Yeah.
You know? I feel privileged. I feel like I know a lot of people back home who have just a natural ability for this kind of thing, like for law or even
100%.
the med field, like even just higher education in general, and they're just not afforded the same opportunities. Like it's not in their view, something that's possible for them.
100%. And I think it's important to have spaces like these because, like, even growing up, if you know Nigerians, you know they don't play about school. Africans send their kids to school. They don't care what you do. You need to go to school. And so my dad was like, contrary to most Africans who would tell you to go to school to study law or medicine or engineering, he was like, I don't care if you go for basket weaving. You need to go to college.
Right.
But my parents didn't really have the ability to give me specific directions. Like,
Got it.
You need to make a college board account, and you need to take the SAT, and you need to study for 3 months part-time. They didn't have all that.
Yeah.
It was just go to school.
Right.
And so
figure out how to get there, but you need to go. I mean? Yeah.
Stuff like this is important because who knows a person who does not have that at home.
Right.
And can look to this and be like, this is how I get started.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It'd be cool. You can come back on. We can put together something.
Yeah.
And we can make like an informative podcast or just an informative video. Like, hey,
down.
look, this. You know what I mean? I'm down with that. We can
100%.
make that happen for everybody. But I feel the same way. So for me, like my parents always pushed me to get my education. Mm-hmm. But something that I struggled with is like, so for me, I'm the first in the whole family. Mm-hmm. And when I say the whole family, there's like 50 of us, 50 kids, grandkids, my grandma and her kids. I think even all of them, first to go to college, but then law school is like, you know what I mean? That's beyond.
Big, yeah.
So I really had no one to be like, hey, actually I did. I have a cousin. She's going to watch this, Carly. She was on my mom's side and she was so much help. And without her, I really don't know. I mean, I would have figured it out, but like it would have been so much harder to get through certain things because I just didn't have a role model. I had her, but without her, I wouldn't have. And so many people just don't have that person to be like just the little simple things.
Yeah.
How to do FAFSA. Mm-hmm. That's such a big older sibling thing, right? To like get it to, because my brother, he's gonna be going to college soon. He's 18. And it was so cool, dude, like to help him with that. He called I don't know how to do this. And I was like, hey, let's like jump on it together. I helped him with the FAFSA and like finally the fruits of my labor are going, getting passed down. Yeah. And I just wish that I had someone like that for me and for all the people who don't, like it sucks.
It does.
It sucks. It's set up that way though. Like I hope nobody feels that it's them individually, like I can't catch a break. Like none of it was designed. The higher education and all of that was designed for us to not be in these spaces. Right. So that's why it's hard. Right. Because it's supposed to be.
100%.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you wanted to talk about that because it sucks. Yeah. It's so important and. Like, man, like I just could imagine like how incredible the legal field would be if it was more diverse. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of the issues we have with like, let's say the criminal justice system is because it's not represented by the people who make up the jails. And, 100%. So do you have a partner?
I don't.
Neither do I. Have you had a partner at all in high school? Law school. Basically, high school is law school are basically the same thing.
100%. Actually, it's actually high school part 2.
Yeah. But so have you had a partner at all during law school?
I have not.
Me either. Me either. So like, I feel okay. So the other guests on the podcast that I've had, some of them have had like partners, like long-term partners. Yeah. And some of them haven't. But I feel like I can relate to you the most. Because you're just so, y'all are going to, it's just like a 30-minute podcast of me fangirling over Olu. But like, you're so like, independent and strong and strong-willed. Yeah. And just, just commanding presence. And I'm just curious, like, how do you think that influences, your relationship life? Because I feel like for me, it does. I am a very strong personality, and that's normally okay if you're a man. You know what I mean? Right. They're like, he's so strong, and but when it's a girl, it's like, all right, okay, that's enough, girl. Like, calm down. So do you think that's influenced it at all, or how do you feel?
Bittersweet about it. The bitter part is I do think it negatively impacts dating life, right? Like I've been told sometimes by men, like, never approach you because I thought you were so mean. How could you have thoughts about me? You literally don't even know me. And it's I don't know what it is. That must be you. I had to learn that.
Oh, I intimidate you.
That's you. That's not me. You thought why did you think I was mean? And it usually comes down to
Number one, I have a deep voice. Number two, I don't smile without purpose. And so like people feel like if you don't smile at them like you mean, I guess.
You know, do you know what like cholo and chola is? Like in Latino culture? I'll show you a photo. And then I guess I can insert a photo as well. But that's my vibe. Like very Chicana, like very
okay, I know Chicana though.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay,
it's the same like vibe.
Okay.
And so it's very like resting beef face and just like
I'm not playing.
Yeah, just like okay, well, like if like you said, I'm not gonna smile unless I have purpose. But at the same time, like you're a sweetheart. Like I can attest to that. I'm a sweetheart. But like it's so funny that you say that because it's so true. Like you looked mean when I met you. Like,
are you scared? What you scared for? Right.
Like, what did you think I was gonna do? Like, what
bite you?
What did you think? What did you think was gonna happen when you talked to me?
So it's definitely negatively. Impacting me. Like, without a doubt. On the positive side, though, people don't be coming up to me with no BS. Yep. I'm gonna be real. Yeah. They like sometimes when I talk with other women and they say the type of things that men say or have tried with them, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't experienced that. Yeah. And I don't think it's by mistake. I just think I come off mean, and so they don't make an effort in that way.
You know, I don't think it's that you come off mean. I think it's that you come off like commanding respect.
Yeah.
There's a difference. You know, being mean is like with ugliness in your soul and in your heart and moving to hurt someone's feelings. Right. You're just yourself. Yeah. And you alone, like you have respect for yourself and others. Yeah. And that comes off. But you know that like what you said about like, you know, hearing other women talk about how men treat them. I genuinely, wholeheartedly believe that if a man is treating you badly, it's your fault because you allowed it. You cut it, nip it in. Someone starts treating you badly, nip it in the bud and kick him out your life. Or you know what I'm saying? And of course, it's not always that easy. You know, there's different
100%.
in like, you know, like situations. But for me, like I have to be my biggest advocate,
100%,
biggest fighter. So if a man starts coming into my life, my mom taught me this. She's my mom is very strong-willed, independent woman, and that's how she wanted me to be, and it worked. Thanks, Mom. But she's always been like, if a man, kind of like when they show you who you are, believe them. You know, so if the red flags start to happen, I mean, they're only going to get bigger.
You know what I mean? What are you waiting for?
Right,
or like it to be a red house, like a
red castle.
And I want to emphasize the point that you made that sometimes it's not that easy.
Right.
I get that people are in different situations.
Right.
Sometimes you become dependent, whether financially or emotionally.
Right. And there's no knocking y'all because I mean that's a whole other ball game. That's a whole other set of things that you have to deal with. Yeah. And so I know that it's not as easy as just kick them out your life. Yeah. Like, I don't mean to sound ignorant, but you know, when it's like dating, casual dating.
I want women to be stricter, 100%.
Right.
I tell my friends all the time, I want women to be so strict.
Yep.
And I'm not saying, like you said, like be mean, spirited, like evil. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't give second chances. I'm not saying that either. I'm not saying, like, I think there is potential to yield to a man and be like, you know what? You got it. I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
like letting them lead, kind of thing.
I think as a woman, I think that's okay. I'm not on the side of like, no.
Right. I love men.
Yeah,
I love men.
Let me be frank.
Yeah.
Okay. But like,
me and men go together.
Okay.
I don't hate men at all.
Just like when you give, and it's something I don't even do it with men because I'm still navigating. Standing on business with friends.
Right.
I'm standing. It's so hard. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out with friends. Yeah. So I don't even have time for you to play with me in that way.
Yeah, I'm a lot more strict when it comes to romantic interests.
Yeah.
Than with my friends, and that's not good. You know, I need to learn how to be more strict 100%. With my friends. But yeah, I saw something. I think it was on TikTok, and it was like you can tell how much a woman loves herself by how her man treats her.
Exactly.
And I refuse for someone to be like, oh, that's your man, you know? Like, absolutely not. I'd rather shoot myself in the foot. Absolutely not. So I feel like the fact that we're such like big personalities and like, you know, I honestly don't even think it's that. I think we just have a lot of self-respect.
Yeah.
You know, I think that that's what comes through to men. And if that for me, it weeds out men with bad intentions.
Yeah,
it really does. And then if somehow a man that doesn't have good intentions still is like, well, what's up? I'm quick to be like, no thanks.
That's it. Yeah, and not doubling back. No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I like myself too much for that. Right. Like, just good.
The fact that you don't like me as much as I do is weird.
That's odd.
I'm so weird.
Vibey. Like, I'm cool. Yeah. And so, I just, like, I'm not going to beg. And don't get me wrong, I talk about this all the time with my friends as well. There is a level of loneliness when being that strict. Do not get me wrong. You'll be... Because you could just be alone and then you can be lonely. Yep. It does get lonely. Yep. But I'd rather be lonely than you stomping on my heart.
Yep. So letting a man lead. I still have yet to figure out how I feel about this. So this is what I feel. I think that it should not always be a man leading. Okay. I think for me, it's like, what are you better at? What am I better at? Okay. We'll lead in those things. Yeah. I just feel for me, you're such a good person to talk to about this because I'm just so curious because you're so dope. But, for me, right? Okay, so the normal like gender norm is like the man's supposed to lead and be the provider and take care of all of the finances, all of that. And for me, I just feel so bad for men who subscribe to that or are forced to subscribe to that. Because it's so much pressure on them for no reason. You know what I mean? We're just as capable. I can have your back just as much as you can have our back. And like, we're a partner, we're a team. So for me, the way I see it is like, where he's good at things, he'll lead. Where I'm good at things, I'll lead. What do you think about that?
I think that's a fair sort of like middle ground. You lead where you're best at, I'll lead where I'm best at. Growing up, my parents were both leaders. My dad was a provider though, like for sure. And at some point my mom kind of also rose to providing, especially as we got older and we required more. Right. But I really don't know. It's actually a delusional conversation to me because like, I don't know why. It's almost like people frame the conversation in a way that makes it seem like the partnership is not a partnership. Like, it's not collaborative. And one time I asked my dad about this 50-50 comment, because I have conversations with him.
It's like the 50-50 conversation. Yeah.
Delusional.
That's a yeah.
But I spoke to him about it, and he was like, they're all dumb. He was just like, people are dumb. He was like, it's never 50-50. Right. Like, sometimes it's 80-20. Yep. Sometimes you giving 100% because your wife... She just can't. Yep. Maybe she just had a baby. She just can't.
That's what my mom said, yeah.
Or maybe your husband got laid off and you got to support him in this transition period and you have to give the 100%. Like, he was like, it's almost, I think he told me, like, it's never a clean, just 50-50. Like, it's just not that.
That's just how people work.
Yeah. And this, like, wanting it to be this perfectly divided or perfectly unbalanced situation, I think defeats the purpose of partnership. Right. And I think that's why older parents, Hispanic, Black, let me not say all around the world, all around our parts of the world. Yeah. I think that's why they push dating so much. I just thought they were so annoying. Yeah.
Still kind of are.
Still, yeah, for sure annoying. But I think it's what they don't articulate is that there's a power in partnership. In coming home and not racking your brain about how these bills are going to get paid. Because like before on your salary alone, you could cover almost all of the bills and be scraping to the next paycheck. But now that you're in a home together, y'all have all y'all bills and now you got some spending money and he got some spending money. Love y'all do your vacation once a month and whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so
I've never heard it articulated that way. Yeah. I guess because for me, like, the conversation has always been negative, right? On the internet, everywhere. It's like, as soon as 50-50 gets brought up to a girl, they're like, I don't want him. Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I've just never heard it articulated the way you said it. But you're right. There is power in partnership. And something that, like, I'm struggling with, I guess, as I'm getting older is, like, allowing that to be okay.
No, 100%.
You know? Because I'm so independent. And I'm so, like, I got it. I'm on my own. I got it. So the idea that I could be even stronger with a partner is great. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it feels like I'm losing a little power into myself because I'm like, no, I should be strong on my own. There's nothing wrong with being strong and having a partner. But that's
100%.
That's so dope. But yeah, it's never 50-50. There's literally no way for it to be 50-50. And
how?
There's no way. But yeah.
And if you and your partner are like, we make the same or whatever salaries, and we're going to sit down every month and ensure that the light bill is $100 and it's going to be $50. The rent is $1,700 and it's going to be whatever it is. What's it, $850 and $850?
Yeah.
Like what? Like, I guess if that works for you.
Yeah.
If you want life to be that strategic and mathematical. Yeah. Like,
I'm bad at math. Please, I feel like I'm so bad at math. My man could probably run me out of a few bills because I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. Here you go.
And I'm not saying a man should provide. That is not what I'm saying.
Right.
I think a man should take some leadership in the home primarily. And so I think there should be a balance of leadership. But I think a man should take the lead.
Okay.
Not all the time, but whatever's under most of the time.
Yeah, whatever that little caliber is.
But like, agreed, it doesn't all fall on one part. It defeats the purpose.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. Do you want to plug in anything like anything that you want, the people to find you at, or
yeah, maybe just my Instagram is at OLUOG _, and that's it. I got something coming soon, but we're not. It's not solidified, but surely my Instagram will share it when it's time. Okay,
awesome. I'll be on the lookout for it. But we'll definitely be back because I do want to get that
law school.
Yeah, that educational version of the podcast out. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Such a great time.
Thank you.
I can't wait to do it again because I really want you to come back again and talk about other stuff.
We'll be back.
Yep. Okay. But this has been Lawtina Live. Bye, guys.